Hi, my name is Janice Banther, and I'm a doula, also a doula trainer, doula faculty, and I've been doing this for quite a while, and I also mentor doulas. So I thought what I would do is have a chance to be able to reach even more people than I do and the people that I have in my classes and my trainings, and help women who are trying to learn more about how to be a doula by using YouTube and using videos. So this is a way that you're going to be able to get some information from me about once a week, and hopefully you'll learn something and or refresh your memory if you've been a doula for a while, and you'll learn something that you forgot about. Oh, that's right, I should have been doing that all this time. One of the things we're going to talk about today is one of the first things that happens, and it's when you get that first phone call. Someone has found your card in a doctor's office, in a birthing center, at a health food store. They found your card and they're calling you. You are so excited. But now you got to think, what am I going to say? Well, you want to make sure a couple things. You want to make sure you have an intake form close by. I am sure at your doula training you were given forms to use from the samples, and one of them was an intake form for where you put their name and address and their information, or the hospital or birthing center they're going to, if they're having a home birth, if they're going natural, if they're having a VBAC, if they're breastfeeding, email address, all that information that you need to know. I've been doing this for many, many years, and I still change my intake form about 2 or 3 times every single year. So you will never get it down right exactly the first time. You're going to change it constantly as you evolve in your new world as being a doula. So you want to have your intake form. Next thing you want to do is you want to have a kind of prepared what you're going to say. So I'm not saying you want to write down what you're going to say and you're going to read it as you're talking to them on the phone. Yes, I have been a doula. No, it's not what I'm talking about. What I want you to do is take a piece of paper and sit down and write down the thoughts you want to make sure you make clear. So when they're asking you, how long have you been a doula? How many births have you done? Have you ever worked at this hospital or this birthing center before? Ever worked with this doctor or this midwife before? When you're answering these questions, the answers will soon become natural as you start to say them more and more. So practicing is a good thing to do. It's nothing silly about that. That's what actors do all the time. But you're not acting right now. You're just learning how to say things where it sounds very natural to you. Also, you want to make it sound as if you're an excited person about what you're doing. I was working with a girl not too long ago, and it seemed like she was a really sweet girl, but she wasn't getting the jobs. And so I talked with her on the phone, and I said, tell me, what did you say in your telephone interview? And we kind of went through it, and she sounded very sad. And it was more like she was talking like this. And so I said, let's try something. I want you to write the word smile at the top of your paper. I want you to say the same thing over again, just like what you just said. I want you to smile while you're saying it. Try it. You try talking and smiling, your voice is going to be up, it's going to be higher, it's going to sound happier, and you're going to sound more like a person like, yeah, I could probably spend 16 hours with this person for a birth, and more excited about what you're doing. She was just as excited as she was when she was not smiling. It's just she wasn't coming across really well on the telephone. So you want to make sure that you come across well on the telephone. You want to make sure you have your intake form. You want to make sure you're smiling. You want to make sure you pretty much have down what you need to be able to say about who you are, what you've done, how long you've done it, and if you're working towards certification, the cost, how much it costs for your services. You want to make sure you have all that clear so you're not and hawing and hemming in the phone conversation. Another thing you want to do is you want to be able to ask them towards the very beginning of the phone conversation their due date. Nothing is worse than to find out their name, information, and you talk with them about 30 minutes. You're having this wonderful conversation. She's really gelled with you. You've really gelled with her. And she would love to have you for a doula. And then you ask, oh, by the way, what is your due date? And you find out it's when you're going on vacation. And now you have this long conversation. And it's been a great conversation. And you can always say, listen, if there's ever any questions you have, you can still call me if you'd like to. But obviously you can't be her doula if you're going to be out of town. So what you want to do is when you do have that phone call, one of the first questions that you do ask is, what is your due date? So right there, you're not wasting her time by saying all the information and finding out you've already got a birth that week, you're going to be out of town, there's a huge school play or something your child's in, and you're trying to block off that time period so that way you know you're going to be available for your child instead of at birth. So you want to make sure you have blocked out times. Have your calendar already blocked out, even in a year in advance, if you get the school calendar and know when school vacations are and things like that. So you want to be able to ask the due date at the very beginning. You want to be able to have pretty much of an outline of what you're going to say. You want to smile while you're talking. The next thing you want to do is also is whatever your message is on your voicemail. It's best if you don't use the one that's a recorded message from the phone company or from Verizon or whatever it is, where it says you have reached the number of 727, but to have a voice. Also, you want it to sound professional. You are a professional. You're going to be getting paid for your services. So having your child say, "Hi, this is Susie and I'm free, and my mommy and my daddy aren't here now," that's not going to be very professional. It's going to be cute to your parents and to your friends, but not as someone who's getting ready to have a baby. So you want to make sure you have a professional sound. If you don't have a phone that's just for work and you're sharing it with a family, then you want to be able to say, "Hi, you've reached the Banthers, and also Janice Banther Doula Services," or something along that line. That way they know they've reached the right number. You want to be able to try and get that phone right away. But if your kids are yelling in the background, or if there's lots of noises, you're in the middle of traffic, or you're in Target, and I know in my Target store, you always lose your signal. Every time they start announcing things over the loudspeaker system, you lose signal. So you want to make sure that if you can't reach them right then, stop it. You want to make sure that if you can't answer the phone right then, where you can be able to hear them clearly, let it go to voicemail. Get yourself someplace as quick as you can to check the message to see if it is a client, a future client, and then call them back. Make sure you're in a quieter place where you can talk to them. So in the car, you want to be able to have some kind of paper in the car too. And hopefully not just a crayon, but a pencil that does work, or a pen that works, so that way you can write down the information that they're giving you, and maybe a little simple intake form that you have there in the car. So that way you're always available, you're always ready, you have your information in front of you, and you can help them. I hope this has been a help to you, and for those of you who have been a doula for a while, I hope it refreshes your memories for some things, and maybe you can share these with other doulas. Thanks, and I'll be seeing you again.